controversy generated about the Nigerian air issue. Our concern is that up to yesterday, some of us are keen enough to listen to radios. We hear what Nigerians say, and the cumulative effect of what is being said is to say that the entire process of the Nigerian air cannot be said to have been rightly done. This is the position. We know. And this is the last part of our assignment. We cannot just afford to be walking on the street while people continue to accuse us of even being complicit about what is happening in the aviation industry. Even this morning, as I woke up, I saw a write-up about Air Nigeria. And the question is, do we really need these controversies? We don't need. Do we really need Nigerian Air? Yes, we do. If the allegation that the whole process has been transparent enough, Nigeria being what it is, we will still have gone into some sort of controversy, but it may not be as, permit me to use the word, as huge as it appears to be. In my little knowledge about, I'm so sorry, about some of the observations of our conduct as Nigerian citizens, I have always referred to the case of Onaguro versus the state, and of course the observation of late Justice Nikitobi, where he said the Nigerian polity, more than anyone known to me, is one of suspicion and suspect. It is one society where the slightest aberrant conduct of an individual, no matter how malified, is read with so much suspicion. He says suspicion is the hobby of an average Nigerian. He does not only vegetate on it, he enjoys it. More especially where the end result is to damage the character of another person. Those of you on that side in the industry and those of us here have been sufficiently bashed about this matter. And we believe that if some caution, some care had been taken by you on that side and taking us along, some of the explanations that you will be doing, we will have been doing that on your behalf.
To have, and also of this share capital that you people keep talking about, how much of it is authorized, the share capital that you have gone, amongst yourselves, and how much of it has been called up, and who has paid? Then what are the services required from the partners and the cost of the aircraft?
Yeah.
All these have to be spelled out.
We can go in peace.
Because
launched, so to speak, in Farnborough, the logo in 2018. Several things have transpired since then, but that has nothing to do with me. I was invited last February my mandate is to secure an air operating certificate for the airline. Not necessarily to operate the airline, but to secure a license to fly. And that is entirely my responsibility. But I would like to address your question first, before I move on. The aircraft that came in and left was a legitimate charter flight. Any one of us here, if we have a destination wedding in Senegal, we can charter an aircraft. You don't need to have a license to do that. You just charter an aircraft. And the aircraft, you pay for it, it'll be brought here, take your passengers, and off you go. And that is what we did. But in this case, it was to unveil, you see, ever since 2018, all you'd ever seen about Nigeria aircraft were pictures, drawings, not the real aircraft. And we felt it was time to show what the real aircraft would look like, and also to let shareholders, you see, we have institutional investors. They're not in aviation, but they're putting their money in here for, say, 10, 15 years and to exit maybe at a premium. So they need to see what the actual aircraft will look like. So we brought it in here to show them what the aircraft would look like. Then the social media dimension came into it, and I'll address them point by point. One, it's Ethiopian registered. Why is it Ethiopian registered? Well, for a start, to operate aircraft in Nigeria, they must be Nigerian registered. 5 November, we call it, okay? That aircraft was not 5 November registered because it was a charter flight. And it came in with just a few days clearance and off it went. For us to get this license, which is my mandate, I don't want to use technical terms, we must, amongst other things, have 3 aircraft before the NCA will give us a license. And those 3 aircraft must be Nigerian registered aircraft. There are 5 phases, 5 steps that one goes through to get this license. 5. We've gone from the first one to the second one. But the problem is that when you change what we call post holders, you're a post holder, for example. All of you are post holders on the committee. Post holders in aviation is a technical term for director of maintenance, chief pilot, all those type of things. When you change them and replace them completely, you have to go back to phase 1 to interview them. They have to be interviewed to be compliant and acceptable to the authorities, to the Civil Aviation Authority. But having gone back to phase 1 doesn't mean you've done anything wrong. That is the correct and normal process. So when this aircraft came in on a charter flight, everybody said, we have launched Nigeria Air. And I thought this was very interesting because there are learned people in the aviation industry who could have countered that when social media came out, but they chose not to. But that's fine, I'm here to explain. It was just a charter flight, and then there were other stories that the passengers on the aircraft going back to Ethiopia were paid passengers. We sold tickets to them. For your information, those passengers were staff of Ethiopian Airlines that we brought here just to show them, because the aircraft is their aircraft, it's registered in their aircraft's name, it's their aircraft. So we brought them here, and at the end of the unveiling, they went back with their aircraft. Nobody sold any tickets to anybody. Then there was the issue of launching the airline. You see, they brought the aircraft, there's no ticket counter in Lagos, there's no ticket counter in Enugu, and so on. Yeah, of course now. We haven't got a license yet to operate. If you had asked me the question, I could, not you, I mean, if the social media had asked me the question, I would have said, we haven't got to that stage yet. We're doing the proper process of one after the other to get to this point where we get the license. We've done the first part, which is to get an air transport license. Again, on social media, some people have been pushing the air transport license, which is one of 2 licenses, and saying, see, NCA gave them license to fly. They didn't do anything. They got a license. That is an air transport license, which doesn't permit you to carry operations on commercial services. So it's nothing to do with it. It's just one of several licenses. Like if you want to do your driving test, you have to do a written exam first, then you do the driving exam. So we did the written exam and got a certificate. Now we're going to do the driving test. They say, they gave them license. Let us do the driving test first now. So that issue of the aircraft was totally misconstrued by everybody who was just trying to be mischievous. We are not at the point of operating the airline yet, at all. In terms of the business model, sir, you asked the question about the business plan and the shareholding. Well, again, I am not the right person to address that because that is part of the ICRC BPP process. So I am not there to design a business case. What I do is I meet a business case and I use that to get the license, the correct type of license we need to operate. So everything that has been done to get this airline going on a technical front has been done entirely above board and with the cognizance of the Civil Aviation Authority and all agencies combined, by the way. They said, social media said, they've given them international airport in Lagos to use as their private terminal. How? How are we going to use an international terminal? Because it's designated international. It's not designated for domestic operations. Then they said, okay, they've given them the general aviation. General aviation is the other smaller places. Okay, they've given them that one. How? Do you know how much space there is there? So why would they give it to us? Where would the others go? Then they said, okay, they've given them MM2. MM2 is a private terminal. How, you want us to throw everybody out because we're a national airline? No. we are in the same boat as everybody else. You see, the reason, and I've been in this business for 40 years, without the character of a national airline, you lose a lot. National pride, one. Employment, number two. The ability of a national airline to influence Assembly, Senate, and say, look, we need infrastructure. We need to build a new terminal. We need to do this, we need to do that. That's where you come in. But you won't necessarily listen to private airlines. But when the national airline comes, you will listen to us because we're trying to make a point to develop the country. We need to create a hub. You cannot succeed having an international terminal here and a local terminal there because it doesn't connect the passengers' luggage and so on and so forth. You've all flown abroad. You just walk out of the aircraft into the next gate for your domestic flight in the same building. We have to get to that stage. And a national airline will then create the best thing of all, which is competition. Competition is the only way we're going to move our sector forward. Because when you have a player who is above, at a level that is aspirational, guess what happens to everybody else? They live up to it because they want to get a part of that market as well. And therefore, the whole industry moves forward, not just the national airline, because everybody else wants, just like we have one particular airline now, I don't want to mention the name, everybody says I'm flying with them because they're reliable and so on. So the point is, we're desperate for tiny things. Reliability. You've never heard anybody say catering, meals, or you have to wear a suit to go on the flight. All they've said is it goes on time and it's safe. Then it's got the market. But when you have a national airline that gives you in-flight entertainment, you can do Wi-Fi, you can do things in the aircraft that you can't ordinarily do. The other airlines will then improve the quality of their aircraft, bring in better aircraft, and who benefits? The passenger. So all this stigmatization of the airline is undue. I hear what the chairman is saying, and a lot of what you said is I'm hearing for the first time. But that's because I'm in a little hole just doing the licensing for the aircraft, for the airline, and working with the Civil Aviation Authority. But it's something for us to be proud of. And like the Vice Chairman said, the Nigeria Air will happen. Well, even if you didn't say it, I'm saying it. Nigeria Air will happen because the people of Nigeria need it. I'll give you another example. When you go to, let's just use Heathrow as an example, or let's say Dubai, and you get out of the aircraft, and you're walking to your connecting flight, on your Emirates flight, and you walk past the window and you see a Nigeria Air aircraft. You're not on Nigeria, you didn't buy a ticket. But the first thing that's going to hit you is pride. Nothing else. Pride. My people are here. And that's what we've got to get our people to. This is what we've got to get the airline to that stage of national pride. And it's, again, only a national airline can do it. So I think with that, I will hand over to the people who are better placed. Again, there's a million questions you can ask me about Nigeria Air, and I will answer them. I can't put them all forward now because I don't know the questions you have. But in terms of these specific questions of business model, share capital, I have to hand over to the more competent people to address that. Thank you, Chairman.
Before you go,
yes, sir.
Where are we now on the issue of Air Nigeria?
Phase one.
Where are we? What phase are we on?
One, because the original set of post holders, their contract was not renewed at the end of the year, so we had to get new post holders. So to get those new post holders with the NCA approved, interviewed, and qualified, to make sure they're qualified, that takes you back to phase one. But it doesn't mean that all the work you have done for phase two, phase three, phase four is irrelevant. But you go back to phase one, and then once that has been, it's called a PASI, a pre-application statement of intent. So that's the intent with these new people, and then you move forward from there.
Captain.
Yes. Sorry.
And whichever one that it is, does that help what you're here to do, putting the licensing together? And do you think it was timeous? Or do you think, because that's what is raising all these political challenges now. What do you, tell us honestly, because I've just listened to you and you're very straight up honest.
Yeah.
Was it necessary? And what was it? Has it helped the licensing in any way?
Well, that question, you see, in terms of was it necessary, it was not necessary a long time ago, but it was necessary at this time because of the negativity that was going out in social media, that Nigeria Air was a fake conjecture. However, It then raised more questions when it came in, because people said the airline has been launched. It was merely to unveil the logo on a real aircraft so that the media could take pictures of a real aircraft. But in terms of its bearing on the process of the license, no.
You see, Captain.
Yes.
Captain, if you are the interim chair of that airline, have made it abundantly clear that the way you are making it here, I'm sure those controversies will not.
Yes.
Maybe the controversy will be, yes, it's reasonable, necessary, but was it reasonably necessary? You know, you have to take this to take taxpayers' money and charter an aircraft all the way from Ethiopia, come here and for unveiling. It doesn't matter the size of the aircraft. You already have in your application for AOC the kind of equipment you want.
Yes.
Yeah. So even if it is a citation that is painted somewhere that gives the impression that this is how, with the unveiling of the this thing that you did in Fambro, that this is how it's going to look at. First, you will have made savings.
Yes. Sure.
And that money will have been plowed back to accelerate the issue of this AOC
Yes.
application.
Yes.
After getting the ATL. So to be honest with you, it is necessary, politically necessary, but reasonably unnecessary to have used whatever amount. I'm not interested in the amount now. I'm not interested because I don't want to generate any other controversy. But as far as we are concerned, it was necessary, but it wasn't reasonably necessary to have done what was done. Okay. If the purpose is just to show Nigerians how the aircraft is going to. We have had the pictures on social media when it was unveiled on the family. Yeah. But that created the impression for Nigerians that the aircrafts have started arriving. More so when either deliberately or for whatever reason, the minister made it abundantly clear that one has come and the remaining 4 are coming. Let me tell you, if he was there even today in the tea room, how they were virtually like insulting me, you know.
Yeah, sure.
So, yes, they say, in fact, I was the one who went to collect the aircraft and plane. So you see, the controversies don't go into what is unnecessary. And that's why the whole country is, is tense, saying that, look, in fact, some people, let me tell you, those who chose to use the mildest language decided to say that it was a 419. I'm telling you, I'm just telling you what the facts are. And you cannot claim not to know.
No, of course.
Because you know what's happening. For God's sake, we have taken the position, we know where we are now. We are on phase 1, and I'm sure all the manuals are in with the NCA. Phase 2, phase 3 is not going to be a big deal once we pass phase 1. Right. Phase 4, we have the aircraft hopefully. Phase 5 will be demonstration flight and all that, and then concluding part for the operations. Nigerians will equally be interested in knowing how long is it going to take, and then what hope do we have that by this timeline it will start to work. That is what will bury all the controversy. You understand?
Yes,
that is what will bury all the controversy. He was there today in the tea room when another senator was accusing me that we said we are going to manufacture aircraft and that we brought aircraft and assembled. Were you not there? She was there. So you see, we too get worried. Allow us to drink some nice water and stay with our wives and be happy. You know, not reminding what people will be telling us. So the controversies that are avoidable, why do you have to go into them? Why?
Vice Chair, that we paid for. It's nothing to do with
That's why I said I wasn't interested in the money.
Yes,
and that's why I said it was not reasonably necessary. It was necessary, but not reasonably necessary.
Correct. Well, I give you an example, sir. When Volkswagen is going to launch a new model of car, they bring it out and they remove the cloth. You say take pictures, but you haven't seen the real aircraft, the real car yet. So it's just an unveiling. It's a harmless unveiling. I agree.
The consortium came when the minister said one has arrived and 4 others are arriving before something. You know, that was the controversy. You know?
Let you, distinct colleague, the chairman and the vice chairman, procure the air operational certificate and the license to fly. Nigerians are eager. They want Nigeria air to fly all over the world. ask you this fundamental question. What is the estimated time that will have Nigeria air on ground for him to fly to London, fly to America,
I can't let them.
or to locally, to Akure,
Somewhere.
we are interested to know that.
Exactly.
He said Nigeria is rich. We have money. Why are we misapplying the money for us to be disgraced over the world?
Yes. Yes.
We are representatives of the people. We want to clear the air today that Nigeria here is yet to come. So that social media people keep quiet. This is the MD talking to the Senate Committee on Aviation to clear all misunderstandings or misconceptions. But a message will go back to them. When are we going to see this Nigeria air to fly? The processes you have itemized it. I know President Ahmed Bola Tinubu will also be happy to ensure that during his reign, in the next 6 months, Nigeria air will fly. We are interested to know where Nigeria air fly. Thank you.
Smarter there.
Good concept for us to have a national carrier. There's no doubt about it that it's not a good thing in the Committee of Nations that we don't have a national carrier. But I must tell you that some of the issues and questions on the needs of Nigerians cannot be properly answered by those of you sitting here. The man who you have been here is he has finished his service. Okay? So for me, I do not see any of you speaking from a point of authority. You are just staff taking instructions. So I don't know how we're going to do it, but I think I should just let you know that there are a lot of burden you are carrying that you need to come out clean out of it. The concept is good that we have a national career, but the impression that you created by the show you did is being misinterpreted in so many ways, and it's not good for business outfit that is just coming up. Once people start doubting the integrity of a business or the integrity of an institution from the beginning, it's a problem. Okay, so I think you have a lot of work to do. A lot has been said about the structure of ownership, the shareholders, the way that we structured, and we are aware that people are going to court. And I think we must get to understand too, Nigerians are getting more civilized by the day. The questions we ask, and they would want you to provide answers and solutions in those issues. So good that we should have a national carrier, but of course Nigerians will only want to see a national carrier that they are proud of, and they will see that it's commencing on a very solid and clean slate. As it is today, you are not starting well. You have image problem on day one, I must let you know. Good concept, but image problem now. So you must go back to the drawing board and take a look at how you can take care of all these challenges and all these controversies that from the day one is already manifesting in the business. So for me, it's a good concept, but you have great challenges now of allowing Nigeria to be proud and happy. Because when you start operation, it takes one's interest to fly a particular airline. When people have doubts about any percent output, then you have a problem even getting it made acceptable to the people. You have a problem of selling it to the people. But when you came in, I thought that was the beginning of the show. I was very happy. I was even asking the chairman. I said, you have invited me to be part of this unveiling. And as I was coming in today, I didn't know the details, but I was asking Madam Chairman, I hope we know the schedule of how we're going to be operating. Well, I told you I stay at the airport there. I didn't know that what you did was to come and see. you know. But being that as it may, I want to know that in Nigeria, this kind of strategy doesn't really work. Nigerians are not people who want to see cosmetics. They want to see solid things. They want to celebrate it. You know, so in marketing, strategies that you adopt in marketing a product in a particular society may not be applicable in other society. In fact, in some society, the color determines the patronage. You print some item red, some people will not buy. When it's blue, some people rush for it. So you must, first and foremost, you are not starting with God. You should have taken time to study the Nigerian market, the Nigerian society itself, and get to understand, do we appreciate all these gimmicks? Nigeria, all this paparazzi, Nigeria don't. They want to see action from the beginning. Okay? But if that is not happening, you discourage them ab initio. From the beginning, you have already given doubt as to the integrity of the business you want to do, which is not good for you, it's not good for the airline. So for me, it's a good concept, but you need to go and watch it.
And Captain, if I may just add, if I may.
Continuing with eating.
But you could unveil, flag up,
From the legal advice.
flouting the
If there's a court order, you can do nothing about that business.
No, sir. With the legal advice, the court order is talking about continuing negotiation, which we are not doing. And negotiation. That's what he said.
Can I have that in road copy? Let me see. You know, I have some
Please
little
can you
knowledge
give
about
me?
law.
Negotiation with the
Yeah.
Our SCN,
So we have legal advisors. It's what they tell us that we do. But I can assure you, nobody is continuing
you have
negotiation.
not flouted the law in any
Nobody
way.
has flouted the law.
Okay. You also did not talk about, you did not address the issue about the business case and
What we've moved from OVC, outline business case, to the draft, will I call it the final business case, which ICRC is handling. It has not been finalized yet. So they will be in a better position to answer that.
Yes. Are you also saying that the blocked funds will not be resolved until when we have a national carrier? Or what are you doing? What is your ministry doing to ensure that this is resolved as soon as possible? Is that affecting everyone?
Yes.
Even this economy?
The issue of block funds is not only from Federal Ministry of Aviation. What we normally do is we write to the CBN and present it to them, and we had actually worked out something in the past where it will be paid instrumentally. However, because of the situation on ground, I don't think that has been honored. I think last 2 months we also did write to them again, reminding them about it, and also we wrote to Mr. President towards the final days of the last administration in relation to that. We've been engaging with CBN to see how they can even start paying instrumentally.
What is the authorized share capital of this Nigeria? Authorized share capital?
$250 million.
$1 million.
Yes. I am aware that you are also billed to appear before the House of Representatives.
Yes, ma'am.
Yesterday. And I know that one will be a bit of fireworks. So it's good for us to be able to let you go on time. However, I believe that there is a need for you as the permanent secretary now in charge until the relationship between Nigeria Air and our own operators who are likely to lose their market share and are likely to be run out of the market, and people who have taken loans to give us a better, to put Nigeria on the aviation map. There is a need to have a balance between the two and see that they are properly taken care of. I believe you can do this, as we know you are competent to do, and the time to do it is now. Give the AON a bit of comfort. Give Nigerians a bit of comfort. And please, if it is possible, address Nigeria on the issue of the unveiling. That it was not really an unveiling. It was just to show.
It's an unveiling.
It was not a launching.
It was not a launching. It was an unveiling.
Yes.
It was not a launching.
Huh?
That no aircraft came. Nigeria Air is not ready. And we're just in the process of getting the license and all the processes correct. There is a need for Nigerians to know that, so that going forward, we won't be in this quagmire we are in the industry. The industry is such a regulated one that should not be seen in this controversy at all. Once again, this will be our last meeting with you. We appreciate your ability to work well with us, and we're saying until we go, we will keep interacting with you, and we wish you well. Thank you. Can someone move for
adjournment?
There were some assumptions that made us come here. One of which is the Nigerian Air Project. Is it a fluke? The answer is no. The second one is, are we following the right processes? The answer is yes. And that's what Captain Olumide tried to clarify. However, we have also the regulatory authority here. We can also speak to the fact that we have adhered, or we are trying to adhere to the processes. Until we finish the processes, we can't fly. So, Captain Musa,
he cannot legally take that position because you are already following the process. If you meet the process, he's going to give you.
That's what I'm saying. Until we finish the process, he can talk by himself.
You know what I was about to say? When Shakespeare said, accuse me to that tongue that told me so. For it has come my better part of mine, the juggling friends I no more believe. The panther was not in the double sense. They keep the word of promise to our ears and yet break it to our hopes. This is
Distinguished, sir. Distinguished, sir.
Yes.
The point is that we are accused of not following due process. He's the regulator. He can tell us whether we are doing so or not.
Okay.
That's the essence of his being here.
Until he gives you the final
Exactly.
certificate that
Yes.
you could have been delayed, followed.
Yes.
You are not to mark your own examination. You are a student, and is the lecturer.